Missing is very hit or miss depending on its matchup in the bottom lane. So I would love to see them wait until that 5th position and really get that lane party that they so desperately need. But it does look like the Lee Sin is going to be the first blind pick away from Ultra Prime. I mean, there's still a lot of champions available. I'm expecting a Sejuani as the response because that's what Ning is most comfortable on, and something that can pair along very well alongside that perhaps could also be the Annie or the Lissandra that has a lot of CC. Vi also works beautifully with Ahri on available.
Yeah, the Vi Ahri was kind of one of the, especially at the start of the split, was one of those kind of OG setups you really wanted to go for. You get the flash charm or even a flash Q from the Vi, so lots of ways of kind of setting it up. But Vi is one of those champions I feel like does really kind of benefit from a mid laner that can help set up that little bit of CC chain, and you can just kind of stop someone from reacting whatsoever. But this seems to be the new handshake here in the LPL. The Xayah and the Aphelios seem to be the two things people are very happy kind of trading over. I will say, I kind of would have preferred if they'd gone for the Xayah. Go for Xayah Rakan straight off the bat. Yes, you can get in the Aphelios Nautilus, but feels like you could kind of steal that one away here as JDG, but maybe they're feeling a little bit more disengaged more than anything else, because right now everything has to be very short range from Ultra Prime, and yeah, the Renata works very well in this comp.
I love the Renata pick. I think we saw it best used for EDG last night, where I believe it was Mako piloting it, and it is just such a valuable W spell where it is going to be the bailout for these major 5v5 objectives, which Ultra Prime, now knowing the bottom lane of JDG, they are going to look for the counter. Ashe is a support that we haven't seen too much in this new patch, as she did receive a slight nerf to, I believe, the cooldown on her W and of course the ultimate, so it has been slightly changed as Riot is trying to promote a more auto attack based support Ashe, or ADC Ashe might I add. However, it was just played by T1 and it still did wonders, especially controlling the vision around that jungle, so I'm going to expect a similar performance in Baolan's hand this time around.
Yeah, well, the Ashe is kind of an interesting one. Like you said, it does feel like they have less durability, you know, kind of especially with the Umbral Glaive buffs, or sorry, nerfs I should say. It doesn't have as much utility as, you know, it used to have. Still a boatload, but definitely not as much as it used to have. But we'll see if that ends up doing well for Baolan, as Doggo is going to have to try and be a little bit safer, you would imagine, considering there is a Lee Sin in the game as well. So the Jax, the Kennen banned away, the Syndra and the Ahri. So a couple of solo lane bans now coming in for either side, as they both have their jungles and AD carry and bot lane kind of synergy set up. And Ultra Prime, you're going to have to pick something blind, but you will get a counter pick. And I would like Hery to get the counter pick here. I know you're going into Night, but it feels like if you give 369 the opportunity to pick whatever the hell he wants and knowing what he's going into, it's going to be a bad time. This is a great flex, though.
Yeah, the Gragas is going to be the flex for Ultra Prime, and they will decide after what JDG picks on this 4 and 5. But I really don't want to see a KSante Xayah on top lane. That is so boring. Unfortunately, with how the meta is, I think 369 has been more on that tank duty, because you just have such a strong bottom side. I mean, Knight, Ruler, they are hyper carries in themselves. So 369 having a relatively chill day in terms of the carry potential, but you are still playing in front of your grandma, and I'm assuming another relative sitting next to her, so gotta have some flashy plays for tonight.
I like the idea of, like, you know, he locks in KSante and the granny's just like, oh, for God's sake, you know, like, just I can't believe he's after going and doing that. That's just unbelievable. But yeah, it would just be an interesting kind of dynamic. The Annie gonna be locked in here. So you look at JDG's composition, it's as clear cut can be. You go in with the Annie Timbers, you try to get a Lee Sin kick, and the Aphelios carries. Giving Ruler something to carry on feels like a strong strategy coming into the LPL.
It's a very straightforward comp, as JDG does lock in that Annie, and it gets responded by the Akali onto Forge. As for this game one, I think JDG, it is all about Ruler, since Annie and KSante, they are both stable solo laners, but they don't provide too much of an oomph when it comes to that damage department. But you are up against an Akali and Vi who have a lot of lockdown, and we don't have a Thresh for this game one in Missing's hand, so it's going to be really tough trying to position around these team fights. But if we do have Missing positioned correctly and sitting behind where he doesn't get caught out, which I think is one of his biggest problems, it could be really good for Ruler to just show how well he's been playing throughout this regular split. Something a little bit more spicy like the Ashe, like the Akali in Forge's hand, but this team composition is all about the picks, and we'll have to wait and see if they can pull it off.
We're jumping straight onto the Rift for this game number one, JDG versus Ultra Prime. The first game went to full foot 3. See what the second one does now. There's a lot of posturing. There's the stun on the Doggo. He cleanses a little bit too late, which means the Q can land. Doggo goes in. They're trying to see if they can keep him there. Heal from Baolan. No summoners basically on this bot lane. Kanavi so low and eventually will fall. Baolan just keeping everyone away. They're all losing their summoners right now. And Knight trying to stack up whatever he can. Baolan flashes away, but the handshake is great. And it's Aphelios traded back. It's all kicking off in the bot side. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
We enter into game 1 with a straight up 5v5 ARAM at this level 1, and I didn't know why JDG was opting into it. I'm assuming they were just both trying to fight for that bottom bush vision. But you're up against Ashe at level 1, and that is a disgusting champion when it comes to these trades. We're going to take another look at what happened here, which is going to be the ward trying to get cleared out by JDG. I believe we had 2 really nice handshakes coming out and missing to start everything off. It was one onto Doggo. It was a stun onto Doggo. The cleanse was a little bit late, and Kanavi lands a Q, but just didn't have enough damage as Doggo popped the heal, and Ashe slowing him down so quickly does mean the first blood is going to go into Forge's hand. But this fight was just so elongated since 369 did pop the ghost and Baolan flashing, but also getting predicted by missing with this extra handshake secures a 1-for-1 trade in the first 2 seconds of this game.
That's it. That's a hell of a deal. You take that deal all day, every day. Perfect handshake coming out here from missing. And I mean, honestly, I love this from Ultra Prime. You know, I think you play standard against a team that is literally better than you in probably every single lane, every single role. You're gonna lose. So throw a spanner in the works. See what happens. You know. It's just you just gotta try something, otherwise you're just gonna die to a standard kind of setup like everybody else. But again, kind of coming back onto this, it is gonna see great handshake coming out here from missing once more. But we're gonna see what they can actually kind of do for this one, because
oh my god, look at Kanavi.
I was just gonna say Kanavi's already kind of owning this bottom side of the map, so we're gonna see some vertical jungling coming in on this side of the map, because both junglers recognizing they don't have control over they think they have control.
Yeah, Baolan is going to spot out this blue buff, is going to be missing from the side of their jungle. But I need to mention how Ultra Prime, they have no summoner spells available for this entire bot side, so it's going to be really risky if they ever do push in on that wave bouncing back in, as Ning is going to get the return blue buff on the other side of the map. But you never want to be pathing towards that KSante and Gragas matchup, because you just don't have enough lockdown, and KSante is too much health when it comes to the early game. This pink ward is going to spot out Knight, and the TP comes out straight away.
You have to, because this is a full 4-man dive, but you only have 3 members. They can still go for this. The wave is still pretty big. There's the Gravitum coming out. Doggo has no summoners. Missing picks up a kill. Knight tanks that one up beautifully. They can continue going for this, because then there's one less person. They've reset aggro. Baolan, the next target. He falls. Ultra Prime. This is just them getting picked apart. Oh! Missing did everything. The bailout won't be enough, but look at the amount of minions that are being eaten by this turret.
Doggo, no cleanse, and that is your death at 3 minutes with a 4-man dive coming out of JDG. I think that dive was played perfectly until the last tank aggro, where it went on to missing, unfortunately, instead of Kanavi, who was relatively healthy. But still, overall, big down for the side of JDG, since Doggo had to miss out on 2 waves of minions, and now the wave is slowly pushing back into JDG's favor, so they can realistically do that again in 30 seconds.
Let's have a look at the replay, because again, this is back to like 2019 4-man dives, and like it normally doesn't work, but when no one has summoners, it's just too easy.
Yeah, you can't miss the stun as the Annie was straight onto Doggo as all the spells connected onto his face, and they played around this tower aggro really nicely, where they reset the damage and they go in for Baolan since no flashes available on the side of Ultra Prime. And unfortunately, the last tank went on to missing, where I think it should have went into Kanavi's hand to make it a little bit more perfect.
Oh, good start here for JDG, and I'm not saying this in any other context other than the quickest game of the split was 18 minutes and 40 seconds held by JDG. You know, just want to put that out there.
The longest game?
I don't believe so. I think they actually got it taken away from them by Ninjas in Pajamas and LGD. So, you know, kind of makes sense. But yeah, so I'm just putting out there, JDG have been known to find an opportunity and just run with it. Nothing really else to kind of see from that. We'll see what Ultra Prime could really go for it. Is Hery level 6 here, but needs to be a bit careful, because the all-out will be available for 369 very, very shortly, and Kanavi knows there is. Yeah, Baolan doesn't have a splash just yet. And He will be falling down. Did use the heal. Doggo has summoners, but he was not the target.
No. Baolan is 0-3 at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. As we said this, no summoners, meaning Kanavi is just going to repeat Genku. As we told everyone, if you have that lane priority for both mid and bottom, Kanavi gets to do whatever he wants, and that is when JDG is the most comfortable. And I think it all stems back to where Ning had to trade his blue buff for the top side camps, and you just didn't have the vibe to react to the bottom side dive. And this is just the game state now, where Kanavi is going to look for more deeper wards and pressure Ultra Prime's bottom lane.
Yeah, feels like Ultra Prime are already feeling, guess what? This is the number 3 team currently in the LPL, but 2 wins in this series, this could be the number 1. It could all be number 1, but let's have a look at what happened here in mid lane as the Tibbers goes down blind, it feels like, and that does force Forge away, but Knight losing Tibbers, not the ideal situation. Ning hasn't been able to go bot side. Like, that's the funny thing. Ning has not really had an opportunity to go bot side because his camps have just, he basically, Kanavi's just said, cool, you can have top side, I'll have bot side, because all my eggs are in the ruler basket, and guess what? That's a pretty great basket.
That is a really good basket. So what is Ning going to put his eggs into? Because he is now level 6, and that could potentially mean some kill angle for the side of Ultra Prime's top side. However, I think with Knight getting consistent push up against this Akali, it doesn't allow Ning to do anything as a return play. So Ultra Prime's early game looking very one-sided so far, as all the items are getting online slowly for JDG with this tiny gold lead that they've created for the first 5 minutes.
And we'll wait and see what ends up happening from this moment, because it's getting tough already for Ultra Prime. Feel like we're writing them off. I hate writing teams off before things have actually really happened or anything like that, but it does just feel like you're on another level here as JDG. It's just a different setup for them to really kind of know exactly where they need to go, how they want to play. And again, we talked about it. It's very simple for JDG. We mentioned it right as draft. The Aphelios is your carrier, looking for setup from this Annie and this KSante to just set up ruler to, you know, to kind of move forward. 1-0-4, 20 CS up. They know how to play this, and there's nothing Ultra Prime can do about it.
Yeah, as long as ruler doesn't get ahead, JDG's composition falls apart. But Ruler is now going to hit that level 6 with the red and white, and Kanavi is once again hovering with the Vi slowly making her way down towards this bottom lane. But I'm not too sure if they're going to win this 3v3, because Ruler, he has immaculate guns, and your Ashe doesn't have that level 6 spike just quite yet, where I think Missing actually, on the other hand, has been playing really well with how he utilizes that Q ability, and he's been landing every single one.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we've had a lot of, you know, not a lot, but we definitely had some question marks over Kanavi. Sometimes it does feel like when he doesn't have winning lanes or gets his team ahead, it doesn't really feel like it goes that great for him or his team. But now we might have a little bit of a 1v1. The all-out comes out. There is the Gragas knocked back. Going to have the ultimate as well, but it's buffered very beautifully. And Hery has to flash away. This is 369 put on a show for his family in the crowd, and you can see that Hery, he's not enjoying it.
Not too bad, not too bad. All for ult trade, and also forcing the flash out of Hery does mean he is going to struggle a little bit trying to get that CS under tower, perhaps even a plate. But Ning, he has finally gotten his hands onto this bottom lane, but is going to get instantly spotted out by the double ping wards placed in the river. And that just means Kanavi gets a free herald from how that top lane 1v1 went.
Now JDG going to be taking a little bit of a breather right now. 2,000 gold up, Dragon up as well. 1 minute 30 till the next one spawns. And Knight's been having a good time, but a very quiet one into Forge. This is kind of what you want as an Akali. You're kind of happy to just kind of go even. Honestly, he's got a little bit ahead, to be perfectly honest, but with the pressure that's just being created by Kanavi, he has just been everywhere right now. He is constantly moving around the map, making a nuisance of himself, and objective to gank to objective to gank. It's just the power that this guy has. When he's on form, Kanavi does genuinely feel like one of the best junglers in the world.
Yeah, I have had a very tough time trying to kind of list out all the junglers that we have in the LPL, and I think Kanavi, JDG, and also I'm am losing my train of thought, but these people are extremely good Lee Sins, as Lee Sin has just sneaked back into the meta, and definitely Kanavi having a very good game 1 up against Ultra Prime. But now with the Herald in his hands, and Ning, I don't know if he can kill this because Kanavi is right around the corner.
Kanavi is sitting there waiting, but Ultra Prime, they had a feeling 369 wasn't backing away. There was a very distinguished kind of, I'm confident. And then you always have to ask yourself in that moment, why? Why are you confident? There's always a question mark there. As we can see, Knight constantly putting down the tippers there onto Forge. It does feel like Forge is always just going to be in a situation where he's never going to die from it. And because you have first strike on Knight, it feels like he's literally just farming some extra gold every now and again with that tippers. Because it's such a short cooldown even this early on.
It's such a struggle because just looking at all 3 lanes, I'm pretty sure JDG has 3 pushing lanes where Kanavi getting complete control over both rivers and Ning struggling to find an angle to get anything done on the map, where the second dragon is now going to get started as 369. He is extremely low, so he has to be careful. Does have the ultimate, so he can escape if he plays it perfectly here.
And they know that Lee Sin was just on the dragon, so this could be an opportunity here for Ultra Prime. But 369, the king of playing weak side, knows that the police are waiting for one thing, and it's the police vice skin. That works on so many levels.
The donut skin.
Yeah. The donut skin. Does she have a donut in it? I don't know.
She holds a donut with her big glove. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I would have to do some investigating onto that one.
You don't look close enough.
No, I don't really pay attention to the skins. That being, I don't really normally care about the skins. But that being said, oh my god,
another handshake.
Another handshake comes out, forces the cleanse there from Doggo, but Ning this time around is here to try and defend this. But I was just about to say before we almost had a kickoff there. Have you seen the new Cho'Gath skin?
Oh, I haven't. What is it?
Broken Covenant. It's out this patch, I believe, or last patch. I can't remember which one it was. In splash art, it's insane.
Is it the green one?
Yes, it's the kind of white-green one where he's like a giant. No, and it's awesome. But because he's such an old champion, his model in-game kind of sucks. So, there's an Ashe arrow.
I feel like it's going to go wide.
Yeah, it's going to go very wide. Now it's just a 2v2. There's the kick back onto Ning, and he's going to be taking very low. Not dead just yet, but the Tippers is running for him. Kanavi flashes in and gets himself the kill with the smite. There's a good stun. Kanavi gets flashed upon, and that should be a shutdown going over to Doggo. While that was happening, though, but a PvE in the bot side. Ruler picks up first tower and all the plates.
5 plates and 1 kill into the hands of Doggo. Well, Ruler got 5 plates on his side. Another 1v1 is going to start in this top side. 369 engaging everything.
Going in as I take a sip of water, and Hery taking a lot of damage. Yeah, it has to flash away. And this is the thing though as well with the Gragas, especially when you go tank Gragas. The reason why we tend to see the tier build coming out from a lot of Gragas is that you're generally okay as long as you have mana. But when you don't have mana, things like this can happen. But let's have a look at this mid lane here, because again, excluding the Ashe arrow.
That Q flash from Ning did not connect, and Knight was able to land a double Tibbers onto the enemy team, and Kanavi committing with the flash here finishes off Ning as the bottom lane of Ultra Prime actually rotated towards his mid lane, and Doggo committing the flash as well does secure this kill. But still, you are so far behind from this early game, and we haven't even talked about Ruler being 40 CS up and also 5 plates up, getting that Gale Force and also Vampire Scepter.
Yeah, there's another Ashe arrow coming in. Swing and a miss. But you miss all the shots you don't take, so I'm happy to see him kind of go for it regardless, as he does have a little bit of cooldown reduction there with the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Isn't it mad that we could have had Armor Pen boots instead?
Well, talking about boots, I don't know about Armor Pen, but I still call, I think, steel something caps plates?
Steel
I call it
toe
Ninja
caps
Tabbies still, because I'm an OG.
But also, Ninja Tabbies just sounds better. Here we go. We're going to see a kick from full on top of Forge, but does have this perfect execution to get himself out. And despite the constant engagements coming onto Forge, he is still 2-1 and up on CS, so he is still a fairly decent threat now that he has got that the Rocket Belt.
Yeah, hopefully this Akali and Vi is able to get their hands onto the AD carry of Ruler, since this is going to be your main focus in every single major 5v5 objective, as the Herald is going to be spawning in 40 seconds, but with the ultimates burnt from Akali, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle trying to find these angles onto the enemy team, especially with that Gale Force and the flash available in Ruler's pocket, and also having the green and white. We see a flank from 369. Is anything going to happen, though?
No, they're looking for Doggo, who lets the feathers fly, and then they can go all out onto Ning. Pause. This is an unfortunate position right now. It looks like it's Ultra Prime as Doggo is talking on our screen, but perhaps it is hopefully just a little bit of a visual error, nothing more, nothing less. But we are going to be seeing a little bit of a break in the action. It's okay. It's so the LCK can end and everyone can come in here. That's why we're doing it. It's all part of the plan, you know? You just got to remember how all these things work. But yeah, this is a bit of a moment right now for Ultra Prime. It feels like they are slowly finding themselves a little bit of footing in this game, and they're being proactive as well, which I'm loving to see. They're throwing out, you know, opportunities to see if they can make something work.
And it kind of is working through Doggo, and I think the ADC of Ultra Prime has always been the shining light when it does come to their wins and the wins that they picked up previously earlier in the regular split. But in recent form, I think the rest of the competition when it comes to that ADC position, it is so tough because we have Leave, we have Ruler, even Elk has been stepping up from BLG, and Gala finding his mojo alongside Ming finally on RNG. It is just so tough, especially when it really depends on the support matchup as well, and obviously draft. But I think when it comes to just the mechanical skill that we have in the LPL, it's a little bit tough for Doggo.
A little bit tough, as we do see him trying his absolute best. I will say that, like, you know, you think of the champions that are available. You know, it's Annie, it's Lee Sin, obviously the KSante. But if he's able to just kind of get the feathers fly and create that distance, there's a lot of short-range champions there on side of JDG, which means that already with the Feather Storm, the feathers are behind them. He could draw them back, he'll get some roots down. There is a very real world coming into this game where, you know, a Ultra Prime or a JDG go for a fight around Dragon. It doesn't go that great. They lose a couple of kills, and this gold lead doesn't mean as much then kind of going into the later stages. So this Akali is still going to be a threat. This Xayah will scale monstrously into the late game. Yes, so will the Aphelios, but there are definitely opportunities here for the side of Ultra Prime as we come back into live. And after everything was said and done, Ning died, and the turret got taken.
Yep, 2 towers now down for the side of Ultra Prime, and your jungler also 0-2, where the second Herald also getting started by Kanavi. I wanted to say how I've been enjoying this Gragas pick as it has become extremely meta. We're going to get a replay of what happened. 369 was trying to look for that flank onto the AD carry of Ultra Prime. Didn't work out too well as he used the ultimate. So he saw Ning getting out of position, and he just ulted him straight into JDG's face and says this is a free kill served on a silver platter.
Yep, 5,000 gold lead, a little bit more than that as Forge and Knight have now moved their 1v1 from the mid lane to the top lane. First items being completed across the board, and now we can see JDG where they want to try and take it. The Dragon is live, and it looks like already a little bit of priority here for the side of Ultra Prime. They're going to see if they can sink this one away before there's any real contests to come out. And they might just be able to do it. Missing and Kanavi haven't moved over towards it just yet, but now a TP is going to be coming in. They're going to try and make this one work. Yeah, I was going to say, don't know if you want that one just yet. We already see Kanavi jumping in on the Dragon Pit. He wants to finish off the Dragon and down to 3,000 HP. There's the Ashe arrow coming out, does land onto the Aphelios, but the handshake is gorgeous. Knight jumps in on the Doggo, who's forced to cleanse to get himself away. So they've already killed off Baolan. They're going to kill off a hell of a lot more. 3 kills, maybe 4, maybe make it a clean 5-0. JDG are having fun this game.
Oh, look away, Oisin. It's a 5-0 trade at 17 minutes in the game. Also, third drag and soul point going to the hands of JDG, where Ruler is 1-0-9. And we expected him to be the carry, but he doesn't even need to be anymore.
No, he does not. As the rest of his team are starting to pick up some serious amount of items this early on in the game. Doubt it'll be a record-breaking game here in game number 1, but it will definitely be a quick one. We're already looking at soul point, and look at the replay here, because again, the arrow lands onto the perfect target. It's Ruler, but there's just no follow-up.
Yeah, the handshake onto the jungler of Ultra Prime, and also Knight flashing over, getting that double titted stun onto the enemy team as well. With Doggo is so split from the rest of the team, and playing front to back is JDG's ideal situation, where the bailout also saves Ruler from dying from a slither of health, and from then on you just don't have enough damage to finish everyone off, as everyone just lives on 1 HP. But I feel like when you want to play these team fights as Ultra Prime, you need to play with how the Gragas ult gets placed, because if you disposition the Aphelios and have the Aphelios right in front of your carry's faces, that could be an angle. But if JDG is able to start the fight first, well, that's the result of 5-0.
Oh, hey, between the sticks, 3 points. But there's your gold. My God. Doggo is 2,500 gold behind Ruler. It's effectively nearly a full item behind. As we can see them trying to look to try and contest maybe this mid lane, but with 3.5 minutes to go into this soul. But yeah, great, well done, Ning. You followed the Aphelios all the way onto the back line, but you're so far away. There's the feathers going flying. Doggo forced to flash because he knows if he gets caught by even the slightest bit of a slow, he is dead. But I mean, this is just JDG looking to try and assert pure dominance. It was they said, look, you know, the second series in Xi'an, we can't really be waiting too much after that first series went so, you know, a full distance of 3. We have to speed it up just a little bit.
Yeah, JDG looking to end the night on a 2-0 scoreline for their last series of the regular split, and wanting to secure that first place in the playoffs. And with this game 1 and how it's been going, I mean, Knight is on a rampage on this Annie. 11 stacks already.
They're going to continue on with Shelly. Or is it Shirley? Well, surely enough, this game should be done. There's the Nexus turret #1 going down. They don't have any minions. They're looking to try and put down the Moonlight Vigil. Ning! Oh my God, Baolan! 2018 World Champions are dead. The Nexus turret is going to fall. Won't even need a soul point. This is a speed run. Get this on Awesome Games done quick right now, because this is... No, not quite. He had enough heat dead, but it doesn't matter if he dies or not, because he's going to watch the Nexus fall. 20 minutes, 30 seconds. What the hell?
That was probably one of the fastest games that I've ever casted in the LPL. And I'm gonna be honest, 369's grandma looks as confused as me, because she was like, wait, that's it? That's the game? I mean, JDG came out with an absolute banger.
Scammed.
For
she
the
got
first
tickets
game.
and she's only going to see her son for like 40 minutes.
40 minutes. JDG speedrunning their last series in the regular split. But to be fair, I think JDG played all these team fights perfectly, and especially Kanavi on this Lee Sin paired alongside Missing for all these team fights were played immaculately well, as Ruler, he just had to sit back and relax pretty much.
I mean, Ruler just did Ruler things. It was honestly fantastic to watch him do it. But I think the big thing to take from this is just how JDG just recognized, and why they're such a terrifying team as well going into playoffs. You know, obviously right now it looks like they're going straight into double limb, so we won't see them for a couple of weeks, but it does feel like as soon as they recognize, cool, there's no summoners bot lane, we're just gonna 100% all in on this now, and there's nothing you can do, because why? Even if the Akali TP's in, what's an Akali gonna do? There's nothing that Akali does pre-6.
It's kind of trippy to think back of how the game started. We had the first kill going to the hands of Forge, I believe, into the hands of Ultra Prime, as they did get a return 1-for-1, but burning all 4 summoners for the side of Ultra Prime's bottom lane just meant they were getting dove by the 3-minute mark, and Knight always having that mid lane priority, which is something that you can't give over to JDG in any of their games. Just allows Kanavi to do whatever he wants on this Lee Sin and put Doggo even further behind.
Yeah, I mean, it was just textbook, to be perfectly honest, from JDG. It just really felt like they had an advantage. They knew where they can keep going for it. And it didn't really feel like they were over-forcing anything. It felt like everything was supernatural. Kanavi was pathing, keeping up, if not ahead on CS, constantly getting objectives, gank, objective, gank. It was just little by little, bit by bit, just step by step, making it so hard for Ultra Prime. And look, I gotta give as much as I can to Ultra Prime. They tried, man. They tried with some cross-map arrows. They wanted to make things happen, but you could see that sometimes it is just a hands diff, and there was a lot of times there where Ning missed a flash Q. They weren't able to get Forge unlocked. Doggo had to cleanse and ult immediately. There's just... what can you do? They're likely the #1 regular season team now.
Yeah, none of these spells were connecting from the side of Ultra Prime, where Ning was just starving from any opportunity in that top side, as he was just consistently trying to get his hands on the 369, but he knew, and he knew that very well, as he is coming out of this game 2-0-7, not giving over any chances for Ultra Prime to come back and salvage their bottom lane on how behind they were put.
Yeah, honestly, it's just great from JDG. We're going to send it to a quick break after a quick game.